I'm going to encourage you in this next year to really focus on trusting yourself. When you question yourself, do it out of curiosity rather than doubt. Be curious about yourself. And it's not that trusting self is about believing everything that comes in your mind to be the very best thing for you. But you have very strong intuition, beloved. And oftentimes, or sometimes, there is a tendency for you to come at that with doubt rather than curiosity. So let curiosity be your mantra for this next year, and really focus on building trust of yourself. And you will find that things that you have been wanting to create, wanting to bring to manifestation, are going to be easier to do so, because some of what weighs on you is that distrust of self, right? So you are infinitely trustworthy, beloved. And when you forget that, think about my words in this moment and our time of communion together. All right?
Thank you.
You are welcome. Awesome. Yeah, if you just go to my YouTube channel, the live stream's already set up. So you just click on it and join in. It's at 4:30 p.m. Pacific US time. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be awesome. I did one on the equinox and it was amazing. It was, well, I didn't do it. Mother did it on the equinox and it was just incredible. So yeah, so the more the merrier, because we're definitely in service to Gaia for this, for sure.
Yeah. Welcome to the Inner Sanctum online group sessions with Karen Swain. This is some highlights from our 2 to 3 hour sessions we have each week with myself, Karen Swain, teaching deliberate creation. And once or sometimes twice a month, we invite a guest teacher to come in and join us and share their wisdom, and we can quiz them and we have a lovely time. Enjoy the highlights, and if you'd like to join us online each week, please go to karenswain.com/innersanctum and sign up.
All right. So I just invite you all, if you'd like to, don't have to, but if you'd like to, if you want to close your eyes and just breathe with me as I bring Mother into my body. She often just takes up the whole space. So you might feel her in the room with you too. Maybe not, just depends on your relationship and your willingness. But if you'd like, just close your eyes and take some deep breaths. Hello, beloved ones. It is wonderful to be with you today.
Welcome, Mother. Thank you so much for visiting us and speaking with us and sharing your love and light. And I haven't really got any questions. I don't know if the rest of the group do, but what is a message? You're our last speaker for the Inner Sanctum for this year, and a message that you want to share with the people that are online and anyone else that will watch this afterwards as we kind of start winding up for 2020, which has been a big year.
Indeed, it has. And I want to thank you, beloved, for inviting me here today, and for all of you that have created such a wonderful welcome with open hearts, open minds, and being very present. So this year has been a very powerful year, energetically, and in every other way for all people on the planet. And there are changes that are coming in your world. You are moving from one age to another. And with that comes some exciting revelation, exciting shifts and transformations. But it also comes with the dismantling of old paradigms that do not serve the collective anymore. And that can be a very painful experience, because as humans, one of your best ways to feel safe or secure from the mind's perspective is when there's a norm, right? The sun rises, the sun sets, the seasons change, you don't get fired from your job, you live where you live, your children continue to be healthy and happy, right? There are norms that you create for yourself. And those norms become very important to your day-to-day sense of safety. But this year has challenged everyone's norms. You have been given the gift of many deep revelations, from the environment to equality, to health, to mental well-being, mental illness. All these taboos are rising to the surface to be experienced, not just looked at from a distance, but to be experienced by all. And what happens is that the collective is sort of asked questions. Is this working? Do you want to keep it this way? Or is this one of the things that needs to transform? Right? And it's going to keep going for the next few years, beloved ones, because the dismantling of old paradigms that have been in place for thousands of years, but most predominantly the last 500 to 600 years, they don't dismantle overnight. And it's not that they are going to completely dismantle in the next few years, but you're being given the opportunity to live in a way that is alternative, that is different. And not just your beliefs and how you might practice those beliefs in the quiet of your home or the privacy of your life, and not just in groups where you are in agreement, right? Where you are involved, like this group. You are like-minded in many ways. You are curious. You are here to learn and grow together. But there is a general sense of agreement about many things. But now you're being asked to sort of take these beliefs on the road with you, right? And that you will be given more and more and more opportunities to live from these beliefs, even in the everyday normal interactions and structures out in your world. This sort of pyramid, top-down paradigm is being dismantled, because as you enter into a new age, the age of Aquarius, that is more based on equality, decisions made through consensus. So you all live in democratic types of structures, up until now, that has been a concept or an energy that is growing and will continue to gain traction and popularity, because the shifts on the planet are going to be much more conducive to collective decision-making, right? What is good for everyone. Class distinctions are going to change even more dramatically. People's understanding of hierarchy and importance is going to start to level out more and more. And you all, each one of you, beloved ones, plays a vital role. It's not that you all have to go out and be big promoters of these beliefs, but you are being asked to hold them. You are being asked to hold space for others to come to the decision for equality. At the very beginning of this gathering, when Danielle joined the group and you were talking about self-love, self-love is all about equality. There is no superiority or inferiority. People have their own gifts, and those gifts are unique to them. But those gifts do not create superiority, or a lack of certain gifts does not create inferiority. All human beings are equal. Whether you live in the castle or on the streets. And as Karen spoke, whether you have 5 million YouTube subscribers or just one, right? None of that has anything to do with equality. Equality simply is. At your essence, you are all equal. And that is the mindset that you all are discovering. That is living from the inside out. Right? When you live from the outside in, then you are trapped in issues of money, race, religion, gender, biological sex, economics, placement or environment. And you all create stories about all those things. And those stories have been defining the human condition for thousands of years. But those stories are changing because of people like yourself who are willing to wake up and experience yourself as equal to all the other human beings around you. No greater and definitely no less than. And this is new. No one person on this planet has lived in equality ever. Not fully. Maybe you have it in certain relationships. People can have it in certain smaller communities. But overall, with the collective, none of you have lived in equality. But this is where you are going. Is this going to solve all the woes of being human? No, it will not. But it will take care of some of the more intensely destructive aspects of the way in which you all live together now. And when there is relief from so much of this destructiveness in your world, then there's room for innovation and creativity that benefits all, that lifts you all up so that you can all rise together. So what I want to convey today is a very deep and heartfelt thank you to all of you that are choosing to serve, changing your beliefs, awakening to love and equality, sharing that with others, even if it's just one person you share with, that is wonderful. And just by your presence, your radiance, the light that you are allowing to grow within you, to touch the lives of others, every moment that you allow this to expand, you are serving love. You are serving this transition. You are on the forefront of this change. And so I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. And when you get frustrated, when you feel that you are being not heard, not seen, not honored, pause, take some deep breaths, step back and say, okay, I might be feeling all this right now, but let me come back to the love. Let me sit in love. Let me let love rise to encompass the whole of my being so that I can reconnect with the truth of who and what I am. And that is what will guide you. That is what will help you navigate these next 3 to 5 years of your lives. Let love be your guiding force, that which you return to again and again and again. Every time there is doubt, come back to love. Every time you feel betrayed or disappointed, come back to love. Because love is equality, and equality is love. Love is curious, never pushy, never should and ought to and have to. Love flows and is filled with grace and ease. So when you are lost or confused, bring yourself back to love. Meditate with love. Call love to you. Remind yourself what feels like love within you. And let that rise.
Oh, thank you so much, Mother. Always listening to you just is, it's just so beautiful. I can't express it. It's just so beautiful. You've already answered this, but I'm going to ask this question. It's going to be the same answer, but I'm going to ask this question anyway. So what I'm seeing at the moment is a lot of collective thought forms or ideas or beliefs of not enough and, limiting beliefs arising as we're being asked to be more equal to each other. We have to transcend the ideas that make us feel less than equal, either better than or less than. And a lot of light weavers and difference makers are carrying this distortion in their lineage because they're the ones that are going to transmute it, transcend it, transform it. What could you say to us when when this stuff comes up? Oh, I just noticed there's a few in the chat. How to transcend, limiting ideas about ourselves that's can be often displayed as physical symptoms. Like I was talking about, a friend of mine's young son has displayed a thyroid problem that is in his lineage. How do we return to love when this stuff is coming up and it's beating us up?
It's a wonderful question, beloved. And there's a few things that work well with what you are speaking of. And the first is acceptance, right? When you all are fighting what is, whether it's thyroid problems, whether it's job loss, whether it's not enough subscribers on YouTube, whether it is an abusive relationship where someone is chipping away consciously at your self-esteem, the first step, once you become aware of what's happening, is to accept what's happening. Because acceptance happens when you're present and in the moment. It's very difficult to accept when you are attached to the past, or you are projecting out into a future that doesn't really exist yet. You have less power, right? You are spread very thin. Your mind is not on where you are in the moment. So when you come to the present and you accept what is, that is your first gateway into humility. Humility is experiencing yourself just as you are, shadow and light, things that you perceive as problems or limitations or issues, and your gifts, and what's going well. Humility says, this is me, right? Just me. And when you can come to that place, that acceptance of self in the moment, oddly enough, instead of feeling defeated and self-loathing rising, you actually tend to feel the opposite. You feel relief. Because when you're in the past or out in the future, that's where the sense of powerlessness can heighten, hopelessness can heighten. When you come to that place of humility and acceptance, all of a sudden, all your energy comes back to you and you are empowered because you're not spread out. You are centered and focused in the here and now. And when you sit in acceptance, when you surrender to the moment, when you accept that you are who you are, then you can feel that it's all right. And when you feel it's all right, solution starts to come from places you never imagined, in ways you could not have anticipated or planned, because you are radiating your light, your essence from the moment. You are centered, and that radiance draws to you what you need to move through the problem, to find completion, resolution. But here's my caveat, beloved ones. The reason this is often so difficult, it sounds so simple, but it's difficult because once you start drawing to you what you need, not what you want, what you need to find solution, events may play out in ways that create pain or loss or sadness. Relationships might be over. Jobs that you thought were going to go on forever might be over. Illnesses that you want to find a quick solution to, you want to figure it out and move past it, may have different plans for you. Your soul is in charge of your lives, not your mind. Your mind is there to help you navigate the human experience. It is never meant to be in charge. So coming to that place of humility and acceptance, that is going to be your best place to call to you what you need. And when that starts to show up, find your courage to do what is then asked of you to do. And trust that your soul is not against you. But I will tell you, beloved ones, as Danielle described earlier, the soul is not particularly invested in your wants. It is deeply invested in your needs, your heart's desires, your dreams that come from the soul, that come from that womb within you, that place of creation. That is what the soul is interested in. And that is what you are going to draw to you when you come to center, when you come to the moment. Does that make sense, beloved?
We're getting lots of nods. Let me have a look at everybody here. Yes, I you know what I'm here, radical acceptance. As humans, we're always trying to perfect and overcome, and we seem to be in this constant battle against the problems in our lives, how to fix them, how to heal them, how to overcome them. And recently I had a beautiful channel teacher on the show called Zoe Pennant, who openly admits, you know, or she wears her limiting her conditions like a badge, and she's like not wanting to overcome them. So you know, I said, you know, I used to be dyslexic and now I'm not so much. And she says, you know, I am dyslexic and I accept it and I own it. I'm also on the spectrum. I'm also on the autism spectrum. And she sort of talked about, I don't want to fix it or heal it or overcome it. It's who I am, and I'm proud to be like that.
Yes,
and
Indeed. That is beautiful, because none of you are broken. So there's nothing about you that requires fixing. You are simply here to evolve. So the changes are going to be much bigger than micro, right? This is sort of the beginning. And I don't mean the beginning with COVID. The beginning has been happening for about 10 years, but this year was a big year of energy being released into this realm. And it's specifically about that equality. Just like at the beginning of the millennium, the largest energy that was released was transparency. So now we have the transparency from the beginning of the millennium that has been growing and growing and growing. It's harder to hide in the world, right? Harder to hide one's shadow, harder to hide one's light. Everything is much more out in the world than it ever was before. You are slowly all becoming more of a global experience rather than these separate countries. Borders are shifting. People are changing their ideas about countries, but then because of that, there's a big rise of nationalism that no, we have to keep our borders and our culture. And so, right, so all the changes that are happening, there's a big surge to hang on to the way it was, the old paradigm. So in order for equality to come this year, that is what COVID served, right? Because COVID doesn't really care what color your skin is, how old you are, doesn't care where you live, doesn't care about any of that, right? It is the great equalizer. No matter how much money you have or don't have, it basically shut down the world. Little virus. So all of a sudden that calls into play your ideas of importance, who's essential, who you put on pedestals, who you denigrate. What are people's beliefs, and how does that shift the way people perceive themselves and each other? So in order to come to more equality, in order to dismantle these old systems, there has to be some pretty big changes. And here are some that are happening. And this is not coming from Mother Earth directly or from the divine. This is all the consequences of the way you all have been living, right, for thousands of years. And the biggest changes, the biggest issues are going to come from the environment. As the environment continues to struggle to renew itself, landscapes are going to be changing. And with those changes will come enormous shifts in population movement, migration. So you all are going to have some very big problems to deal with in the not so distant future, your generation, beloved. And how you choose to rise to those problems is very much the transformation that is going to be taking place. Now, for those of you that have watched my videos or are familiar with me, I am not doom and gloom, right? This is not about apocalypse or Armageddon or anything like that. But already you see what is happening with your environment. You see the results of the problems that are occurring. You see the displacement of people due to hurricanes, floods, wildfires. Over the next 10 years, that is either going to get much, much, much worse, or it's going to start to get better. And all of that is up to you all. And if you think some days, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. You are also a vital part of the collective. So for you to hold that space of love, for you to commit yourselves to serving Gaia, Mother Earth, in whatever way she needs you to serve, not how you want to serve, but how she needs you to serve. If you are willing to do those types of things, and the more people that are willing to do those things together, communally, to uplift each other, the easier this transition is going to be. But Gaia, Mother Earth, is going to take back what she needs. Because in the end, you are guests here on the planet. You are not in charge of the planet, but you do affect the planet enormously. She is in charge of herself. She is her own autonomous being, just as you are your own autonomous being. And all are one. So she is going to do what she needs for herself. And the beautiful part is that is going to benefit humanity greatly. But how that looks and how bumpy an experience that is up to all of you. And the effects of the environment will reach every aspect of life: corporations, governments, schooling, education, housing, finances, all of it. All your structures are going to be affected. COVID was sort of the introduction. And again, not that it's going to be all disaster all the time. Not at all. But you will be faced with challenges. And this is the beginning.
It's going to bring what other issue, like, so you've sort of put it so beautifully, like transparency, equality. What's the sort of next limiting idea we're going to tackle?
Oh, beloved, equality is going to last for quite a while. That's going to be, and the transparency had to come first, right? Because it plays a vital role in helping you all become aware of the inequalities within yourself, within your communities, and within the greater collective, right? Whether that's racial inequality, financial inequality, education inequality, environmental inequality, whether that is self inequality, right? All this transparency, that's what the ability for us to be doing what we are doing right now, that is transparency. All the sharing of different ideas from people all over the world, constantly, day in and day out, 24/7. You all are waking up to the inequality, and you're starting to see the consequences of the inequality. And so you must look to your own sense of inferiority or superiority and heal that within you. The energy is here for you. It's available. It is literally present to make it easier for you to heal this, to move beyond that old paradigm, that old mindset, and move into deeper equality with yourself, so you can be that light of equality for others.
I think, Mother, one of the biggest discrepancies in equality is our idea of human and God, right? We've put spiritual beings or God beings, like God, on this pedestal of unattainable, unreachable. And here we are talking to Mother Mary right now. It's so beautiful. And that equality with our own divine essence, that's up for collective investigation in everybody, not just people who are on a spiritual path. Would you say?
Indeed, yes, everyone, exactly, equally. The opportunity is here for everyone equally.
Yeah, to feel that equality with the divine essence within them, to feel that equality with God. Yeah, like there's a saying, who do you think you are, God? You can't play God. You know, like that's playing God. There's just so many ideas we have about how we are not equal to that energy of light and love. And
it also is, it's interesting that the same belief, the same fears, the same mindset are responsible for both superiority and inferiority.
right.
So, oh, you cannot play God, don't play God, but you are made in God's image. And conveniently, you were put in charge of the planet, or you were told, right, that you have dominion over the animals and the environment. And there is a sort of mythology around the benevolent shepherd, but really it's a story of domination.
Right.
It's a story of possession, of ownership, right? And that story took you right out of the ecosystem and placed you separate.
Mm-hmm.
And now you must come, in order to really serve Gaia, to become one with this earth and to bring back the wildness to your world. You have to find your place within the ecosystem equally. Humans are no more important than the crocodile or the ant. They are no less important than the trees and the oceans and the whales, right? All are equally important for the whole ecosystem.
Absolutely. I think Zoe was our last guest teacher in the Inner Sanctum, and we discussed this, talking about bugs and feeling equal to the slug or the snail or the bug or the ants or the cockroach that invades your home. Not feeling like you have dominion over your home and you got to crush that bug. Get out of my house.
Yes. And what is little known to most people, beloved, is that without invertebrates, your entire ecosystem will collapse and you will cease to be.
Absolutely. I had this conversation with my neighbor and she called me on it. So she was saying that the cat had delivered her a live rat to her front door and she just wants to exterminate it. She's like, kill it. And I said to her, I was repeating Zoe's word, what harm is this little rat doing to you? It's allowed to live too. You're equal. It's God's creature. She's very Catholic. It's God's creature. And then she says, you buy snail pellets, don't you? She totally called me out. Because the snails ate all my plants and I did buy poison. And I went, yeah, I do, don't I?
Yes. It's fine. You see, that's finding that equality, right? Letting go of superiority, letting go of inferiority, and just finding that humility to be equal. It is exciting. And I appreciate you bringing that up because that is what I hope to convey to all of you, that yes, there are a lot of changes and some of them will be painful, but you do not have to suffer with them. If you feel the pain of loss due to the changes in your world, feel that loss, move through it, but don't collapse into suffering. These are exciting, positive, wonderful changes. Taking the riots with the Black Lives Matter that spread around the world. Yes, people died. Yes, there was violence. Yes, many people were angry, but the conversations that it created, the awareness that it created, the awakening that it created at a depth it had never done before, because now the energy is present for that equality, right? And so it's going to make it easier to see the inequalities where they come up, and solutions to move beyond them. So this is a very wonderful, positive, and exciting time in your world. And the reason that your population is so big and going up, up, up all the time, because everyone wants a front row seat. It's an exciting time to be human. Embrace it.
Thank you.
How can we live more with Gaia, not from her?
Beautiful.
Wonderful differentiation, beloved. With, not from. So if you spend more time, this is my favorite way, beloved. I encourage all people to meditate, because meditation, even if it's a moving meditation, a still meditation, a guided meditation, a silent mantra, doesn't matter. What matters is that it gets you centered, gets you quiet inside, gets you still. Go and lay down on the earth. Prostrate yourself upon Gaia. Feel her. Just lie there with her. Go and sit with a tree on a rock and go beyond just taking a walk and enjoying nature, and go and commune with nature, commune with her, and she will guide you what she needs. So how you can serve her will start to just come into your consciousness. You will start to shift your behaviors, maybe how you speak about the earth with others, because this isn't really about a fight. I know that all energies are welcome to create change, and sometimes people with big voices and intense natures do start the process. They can be the ones to ignite a movement. But in general, you want to flow with the energy rather than push or hang on to what you think is right. Let what feels right come from within. Let it come from Gaia. So if it's too cold to lie down on her right now for you, get creative. Think of ways that you can be outside with her and communing, not just watching or walking through, but really communing with the environment. And the more you do that, the more you will remember your place within the ecosystem. And when you feel that sense, that's the true sense of belonging, because she is your home, not a dwelling place, but she is your home. And when you feel that connection, that communion, then you have taken your place within the ecosystem. And once you feel that, that starts to be in charge of formulating what comes to you, your experiences, how you move through those experiences. So if you wake up each day and focus on how can I serve her while she gives to me, how can I give back to her? How can I serve her? Not from your mind, but from your heart and soul. You will be guided, beloved, most assuredly.
Some of the talk out in this community is that there's a big shift just coming at the end of this month. the solstice, and I would love to, in my own little corner of the world, honor that. And like you say, spread love with Mother, but is there something else I could do? Or
that's a wonderful question, beloved. And if you would like, you can join me during a live stream on the solstice. But that will be US time, right? And it's free and open to all. And I'm doing a call to service because the big shift that's happening on the solstice, right around there, we are coming out of the third void for the year. This had been more difficult for many people. And as you all coming out of this void, we are entering into a period of equality based with the masculine and feminine energy, not biology, but energy. Yeah. So what that means is the energy of the feminine accessing the realm of possibility, inspiration, ideas, the center of self, and then that masculine, that spark that brings the ideas from the womb, from the period of gestation out into manifestation. That is a big energy in the overall energy of equality that is being birthed at the solstice. And that's going to play a huge role in 2021. So my live stream meditation solstice, I'm partnering with Yeshua. We are doing it together live so that all can serve this energy. So I'm calling on people to come to the meditation, to devote their focus, their time, their energy to help balance this masculine and feminine wave that is going to be happening starting on the solstice.
Beautiful. That is the perfect answer.
So there is this Palladian crystal activation at Uluru. Do you have any insights into that, Mother, or that you want to share with us? Or is it just a global thing that's being kind of focused on this event in Uluru that's happening globally?
Yes. So this is a powerful activation for this masculine, feminine energy, this giving, this receiving, sort of the whole concept of circle, of completion, right? That's equality, no beginning, no end. And the activation is going to be sort of, if you think about like a gong, right? Like that clarion call. It's going to vibrate throughout the planet. So yes, that's going to be a very powerful experience coming up for you all very soon. I'm going to encourage you in this next year to really focus on trusting yourself. When you question yourself, do it out of curiosity rather than doubt. Be curious about yourself. And it's not that trusting self is about believing everything that comes in your mind to be the very best thing for you. But you have very strong intuition, beloved. And oftentimes, or sometimes, there is a tendency for you to come at that with doubt rather than curiosity. So let curiosity be your mantra for this next year and really focus on building trust of yourself. And you will find that things that you have been wanting to create, wanting to bring to manifestation, are going to be easier to do so, because some of what weighs on you is that distrust of self, right? So you are infinitely trustworthy, beloved. And when you forget that, think about my words in this moment and our time of communion together. All right?
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, my beloved. I thank you again for inviting me into your sanctuary, giving me such welcome and love. It has been an honor to serve you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been sublime, incredible, amazing. I knew it would be. My expectations were not disappointed, always better than what I expect. Thank you so much for your service and your love and your wisdom and all of it. Thank you, Mother. And
are welcome. And I want to just let each of you know that I love you and I'm with you always. Namaste. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you all being here, and I just thank you so much. It's been such a joy to be with all of you and meet you all, and I hope maybe I see you again sometime in some other place, in some other way.
Well, hopefully everyone that's listening and watching this can join you on the solstice. I'm going to be in the forest, so I'm actually out of radio range, so I won't be doing an Inner Sanctum that weekend. So you can all join Mother and be a part of that beautiful.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you just go to my YouTube channel, the live stream's already set up. So you just click on it and join in. It's at 4:30 p.m. Pacific US time. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be awesome. I did one on the equinox and it was amazing. It was, well, I didn't do it. Mother did it on the equinox and it was just incredible. So, yeah, so the more the merrier, because we're definitely in service to Gaia for this, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. It was great to meet you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Thanks for joining, Dana. It was lovely to meet you in France, staying up so late.
It was nice to
Merci
meet you
beaucoup.
too.
C'était génial. Merci beaucoup. Thank you, everyone.
Merci beaucoup. Don't you love that accent? Merci beaucoup.
Bonsoir.
Thank you. It was great. Thank you, everybody.
Wow.
Nice to see you all.
Bye, everyone.
Nice to meet you,
Okay,
Alicia.
have a great week.
Big love to
Great
you.
time.
Love you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody, for being you and being amazing.
Hi, Karen. Love you. Love you. Love you.
Have a great time, Karen.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.